He's angry about mortgages. It's Angry Mortgage. He's swearing. He's cursing loud. He's old. He's opinionated. And he's been doing this so damn long. This program is about mortgages, and this is mortgage advice, but the advice may not apply to your situation. Contact licensed mortgage professionals for specific recommendations before you make decisions about mortgages. You may not agree with Ron, but if you don't, he thinks you're wrong. Oh, and did we say there is a lot of swearing?
And we're back.
We're back.
Angry Mortgage is on the air.
We're live. Well,
It's I've decided because I get mixed up on this, and then because it's easy for old guys to get mixed up. So and the people sometimes. So let's just be clear. We tape on Fridays. You're seeing this on a Tuesday, so this is the first full week in November. Just letting everybody know, this is the first full week in November. So you're hearing about stuff from last week. If you're watching and listening to the podcast. So that's what's going on. I get so many emails about, what's the date? Where is this? We need to know.
Do you want a date and timestamp?
Holy shit. It's
just
a
drop
lot.
our location and everything.
Oh my God, it's a lot. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be like those old radio broadcasts coming to you from downtown Toronto. No, it's not like that. Okay,
we're modern.
We're modern. Yeah, we're just trying to be vague. We're vague. But all right, you want it so bad. You're hearing this in the first week in November, full week in November, and we tape on Fridays, last Friday. So you're hearing like a couple day old information, but it's still all fucking good information. Very fucking good. Okay?
Very useful.
Very useful. All right. What's the first news we always start off with? The big news is really, there's two really big news this week. But most exciting thing probably for people if they're watching a mortgage show is that the rates are coming down. Fixed rates. Fixed rates are coming down. So let's break it down. What will always happen, and we've talked about it before on the show, but just keep emphasizing it. When you've got central banks, like the Bank of Canada, that creates that prime rate, the rate that is related to lines of credit, the rates that is related to variable mortgage rates, that all stems from the Bank of Canada.
Yeah.
Okay. They have not changed any rates at all. They are still exactly where they are. They're just coming off an announcement where they said, yep, everything stays the same. More on that later in the show. But fixed rates are different. Fixed rates are priced off Canada government bond yields.
Yeah.
And as discussed in the past many times, when the moment comes that the bond market, which is just a whole bunch of people in front of Bloomberg machines, here in Canada, mostly in Canada and the United States, a little bit in Europe, a little bit, there's everybody has a bit of a bond desk for foreign, every big country, big busy country has a bit of a bond desk, but it's really all the action is, I would say 75% of the action is in Canada and a few other outposts. But all those people sitting in front of bond desks have to guess what direction things are going. It's a guess. That's all I'm trying to tell people. It's all it ever is a guess. But the guess is based on trends. And the trend today is that the bond market, those guys in front of their, and gals, there's a few gals, a lot of guys, but a few gals, in front of those Bloomberg machines. Bloomberg machine is a stock trading machine. Okay. Now everybody's going to send in emails that, it's not a trading machine. You're fucking wrong. It's really just information. Okay, fuck, whatever. Okay, everybody agree. They're sitting in front of fucking Bloomberg terminals. Okay, we can agree on that much. All right. So people who are trading bonds, they look at the two things that happened in two central banks. We have the Bank of Canada. Our friend Tiff Macklin, don't do the voice. I don't want you doing that voice anymore. Don't do it. I don't even sound like that, you fat son of a bitch. But we got Tiff Macklin. This is a cider in the Bank of Canada. And then we have Jerome Powell, or as the U.S. financial guys like to call him, J. Powell. They call him Cheapo. Okay. So both said no change.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a no change with maybe a note of surrender. Maybe like everybody talks tough, right? They talk like it's not gonna go down. We haven't decided yet. It may go up. Inflation's still there. But the people who are sitting on those bond trading desks, they think there's going to be no more hikes. And that's what they think.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you made a good point to me about how young people view all this stuff.
Yeah. I think that like the housing market, for example, my generation, I know it's not your fault, but we blame you guys.
I love that. I love it.
It is what it is, right? Because my parents bought a condo in '97 for $150K, which today would probably go for $1 million.
Yep. Yep.
So it's like, it's just so drastic. And I guess on your end, you're probably like, it's life. On our end, we're like, no, you did this to us.
You know what? I remember when you said it to me, it really struck a chord because that's generational lenses, right? That's the lens you look at things through. Like, if you're sitting in your 20s and 30s looking at unmanageable prices, inconceivable ability to buy, it would be such a challenge to buy a house, buy a townhouse, buy a big condo, buy anything.
Yeah.
Is it somebody's fault? Okay. And yet the lens we look through is old people like me, people in their 50s and 60s. It was just we were just there. We were just along for the fucking ride. We didn't even I can honestly say because I spend my life thinking about it now, I understand how these prices all got out of whack. Okay. Yeah. But while it's going on, it's just going on. You don't have any control over it.
Of
okay.
Course,
But in the end, I respect your thought that fuck you guys. Honestly, I'm sitting here screwed. You're sitting pretty. And, why the fuck did that happen? Okay.
Yeah. We're at a point where my friends and I were like, should we just buy a house together and do communal living? Because seems like the only fucking choice.
Look, I get it. And by the way, there's whole companies that they're trying to involve people in that shit. Okay. But let me make
it's kind of culty, but sure.
Hold on. Let me make this great point. This is a really important point. I think you'll appreciate it. That we have people buying houses together who sleep together, are in love and fuck, okay? Sure. And after a couple of years, they get mad and break up, and you gotta. So how about sort of semi-friends? Will you actually agree on much? It's
it'd be a lot of fine print, a lot of documents, paperwork, contracts, lawyers. Everyone is protecting themselves.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it never works, right? It's too it's seriously. You got it's just. If husband and wife or husband and husband or wife and wife, which are all very good, can't agree on everything.
Yeah.
How the fuck is just random people how are they gonna say?
It's hard.
Isn't it your turn to take out the recycling? Oh my God, my back's out, you dirty bitch. Okay, it just would go on and on.
Yeah,
right?
But it's so sad because it's that's probably the only way that we're all going to be able to. Well, obviously not the only way, but right now with the way things are going, it seems like the only option.
I respect that. I absolutely respect that. But I'll give you a piece. You agreed. You agreed that it's a relief to hear some rates are coming down. So bond yields are dropping. And that's because these traders think that, you know what? Maybe this is the end. Maybe there's no more rate hikes. Chances are no more rate hikes. And if that's true, then if there's no more hikes, then eventually there's a cut. So if there's a cut, we trade differently.
Yeah.
And bond yields come down. And at that point, mortgage rates come down. So what's going to happen in this week that you're watching the show? Rates are falling. Rates are coming down. depending on the term, because obviously people can pick what they want: 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year. Don't take a 4 year. 4 year is stupid. And those rates are coming down. I would think that 5 year could come down in some cases, as much as 40 basis points.
Oh,
which is nearly 0.5%. You'll probably see 3 year down at least 0.25%. So we're going to see some drops. Here's the deal. It's still not meaningful. I mean, the rates were just too high. Like, it's not really meaningful to a marketplace.
Right.
Like 40 beeps, 25 beeps, 15 beeps, 30 beeps. It's not really meaningful. Like, here's what I say, and I've said it before. You really need a 4 handle, a 4 in front of a rate. You need a rate in the 4% range.
Comfortable.
To make people stop and say, well, maybe I can manage this.
Yeah.
Okay? And we ain't seeing that. And so that's why I continue to believe that mortgage activity be bad. Purchase activity in Ontario and British Columbia, bad. Okay, very slow, very, very slow. And remember we talked about FOOP last week? Yeah, remember? We dreamt up FOOP. Fear of overpaying, right?
Yeah.
Instead of FOMO.
Yeah.
Fear of missing out.
I feel like I'm there. I was actually talking to Jessica and I was like, everything in the city is too overpriced. Like, even the affordability is not even in the question. It's just, do I want to pay this amount for this home?
Because it may be less. It may be less.
It's, in my eyes, it's worth less, especially
in any rational person's mind, it's not worth what it's selling for. Okay?
Exactly.
So FOOP, but FOOP made it onto BNN.
I saw.
Yeah, FOOP was on BNN. Like I was down there for an interview at the studio. They have a good studio. It's interesting. Like there's a lot of light in the studio. There's tons of lights. It's a super bright place.
Yeah.
No heat.
No heat.
That was always the old complaint you got. Everything's modern now, so it's better. But it was always that over the years, if you had a ton of light to lit a studio huge, it was hot.
Yeah.
Okay. No heat at all.
You probably have the AC running.
I don't know if it's the AC or they've just found super expensive lights that aren't hot, but anyway, it's a great studio.
Nice.
And good people down at BNN. And they said, the guy
brought
quoted
up
it back to me. He said, you said there's FOOP, okay?
Yeah. I was so proud. I was like, oh, he's watching our podcast.
You know what? I think he just saw the notes. I think he just got show notes from the producer. But the reality is that it's not going to catch on. It's not going to be like FOMO's. FOOP is not going to be like FOMO, but it's not going to really catch on. But and so what happens next? We're going to see lower rates. How much lower? This go around is probably this go around. I mean, it's just today. Today, we're at this reduction. It's going to take other moves before it really gets that. We're not going to see this 4% thing, this mortgage rate that starts with a 4. We're not going to see it. Not going to see
a very long time.
No, I don't know about how very, but we're not going to see it this year. We're not probably going to see it in the beginning of next year.
Maybe lucky late next year.
Listen, here's the deal. I mean, it's all about the recession. You know, we've talked about the recession. There's been worse news. All bad news comes in.
Yeah.
Bad job reports. Not ridiculous bad, like not the end of the world bad, but job reports not so good. GDP reports not so good. Lots of reports not so good on the economic front. And it just sort of falls into a narrative of things not going good. So
how would you say that we can or at least my generation, can we brace ourselves? Because the last recession, 2020, most of us were probably in school working, those necessary jobs in retail.
So, sorry, last recession,
2020,
the COVID emergency. The COVID emergency, yeah.
So I wouldn't really count that because we didn't really feel, at least I don't think most of us felt it like that, especially with the help. But 2008, a lot of us were just kids.
No, you guys were just
I didn't even know what was happening.
You were kids.
Yeah.
You were kids.
So how would you say that I can brace myself for this one?
That's an excellent question. But we got to just throw COVID out the window.
Yeah.
Because during the COVID experience, there was more money spent by governments than in the history of the planet.
Wow.
There was more money thrown at helping people.
Yeah.
And just because if we're all honest, let's face it, you probably knew a few people who made more money on CERB than they did when they were working, right? That happened.
Yeah, for sure.
That happened.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. If you're okay, if money's coming in, if $2,000 is hitting your account every month, then you're okay. Then it's not really a recession to you,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
It's just, so yeah, we dropped back to 2008. You're right. You weren't it wasn't a big deal for you. And the thing is, in Canada, it was only about 10 months. It was 10 months of hard times based on the U.S. mortgage crisis, based on the world financial crisis. But it was really just about, that's all it was. It was about 10 months in Canada, 10, 11 months. House prices fell. Absolutely, they fell. Some cases, they fell like 15, 16, 17% because there was real contraction. I think if I remember properly, all three car makers were stopped. Okay, so it was really difficult, but brief in Canada, very brief. Longer in the U.S. So because the U.S., that was the heart of the mortgage crisis, and millions of homes were lost. Okay, that's just the truth. And so, in a brief term, like 10 months, if by the end of 15 months everybody sort of shrugs their shoulders and says, well, fuck, everything's over with, it's hard, but brief, you don't notice it too much. I mean, it's just, if we think about real strong recessions like 1989, 1993, I mean, that people felt shitty for 3 or 4 years.
Oh, okay.
It was tough.
So do you think this one's going to be brief?
I just have no clue. Okay, honestly, you have to be, here's what I really believe. Anybody who says they know, they're full of fucking shit. Okay,
shit business.
It's shit business, and they just, this is a tough one. Okay, here's what we don't understand properly.
Yeah.
We never understand what measures governments will take now.
Right.
We don't know what they're going to do. I mean, will they jump in? Will they get really aggressive? Will they drop interest rates super fast? What will they do? We don't know. You could hope that they've learned that this yo-yo ping-pong effect of low interest, high interest, low interest, high interest is a shitty method. Okay, but I don't know that answer. We do know that every sign is pointing to some sort of recession.
Yeah.
And how that applies to rates is eventually they come down. But the variable takes the longest, like the move of the Bank of Canada to drop rates. That's the farthest away. Why? First of all, nobody likes to look like an idiot. Okay.
Fair.
That's just reality.
Yeah.
And if you've talked tough for a long time, it's like Trudeau on the carbon tax, like Trudeau's saying we're never going to stop the carbon tax, never going to stop the carbon tax, never going to stop the carbon tax. And then all of a sudden one day he finds out he's going to probably lose every seat in Atlantic Canada. And he says, well, you know what? Just in Atlantic Canada, we're going to drop the carbon tax on heating oil because that's the only place they use heating oil.
Of course.
So we're going to drop it out there. And all of a sudden the shit hits the fan, and pretty soon every premier is saying, well, like Doug Ford says, well, folks, if he's going to drop it for Atlantic Canada, then he's going to have to drop it for Ontario, folks, because that's just the way it's got to be. Okay, so we got that. All hell's breaking loose. We got that guy in Saskatchewan just says, I'm going to tell my company to stop collecting the money, and you're not going to get any of your goddamn tax on the natural gas. And holy shit, hell's a popping here. Okay?
Yeah.
Because you make a change, and then people say, well, fuck, all your stuff was a lie. Okay, everything you said before was a lie.
Yeah.
And that's always the worst place to be. So we were not going to see the Bank of Canada or the Federal Reserve in the U.S. suddenly say in, I don't know, end of December, middle of February. We had it all wrong. We're going to drop the hell out of rates. No, that's not going to happen. I mean, we might, at the earliest, we might see some sort of rate drop in the spring and maybe even the summer. I mean, that would probably be about the earliest because inflation is still here.
Yeah. For sure.
Hasn't disappeared. So
for sure.
So that's about this. That's what's happening on rates. Little bit of good news. Fixed rate's going to fall, not much. And the variable, you got to wait. But for those people who have had the variables that the rate went up and up and up,
I hope you're okay.
We hope you're okay. But there is a strongest chance, it's looking pretty good, that it's not going up anymore. So whatever you're paying today, that's what you're paying. Okay. And someday it will come down. Okay.
Yeah.
So how does that affect the economy? Nothing really. I mean, if we're going into a recession, we're going in. That's it. It's going to happen. How does it affect real estate sales? Well, I read on social media, there's this little, I can't remember if it was a TikTok or an IG Instagram reel or something. And the real estate agent's like he's looking in the thing like it's very mysterious, and he's looking like it's back and forth, and his eyes are going around, and he's looking like he's trying to draw you into a secret. And he says, I got something to let you all know. It's definitely not official, but the cuts are coming in March. Like, fuck you, you fucking liar. I mean, Jesus H. Christ, it's not official. Like, like his cousin is Tiff's maid, and she was in his office and saw that, like, oh, look, I see it's penciled in March on his desk. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, hey, like, I have to say this 100 fucking times. Don't fucking lie, okay?
Yeah.
No need to lie,
Keep
all
it
right?
real. Just got to keep it real. People are going to find out.
But maybe not. I mean, that's the trouble. You know what the trouble with the trouble with this wonderful immigration that we have in Canada, and you know me, I'm so pro-immigration. It's crazy. Okay, you got people who sort of function in their own language groups. So if the dishonest realtor who only functions in that language group can get everybody thinking, my cousin's sister's best friend is Tiff Macklin's maid, and she sees the date circled on the calendar with the word cut next to it in his house, and then all this bullshit goes crazy. So anyway, that's the trouble.
Oh, that's shitty. I never thought of it like that. Yeah.
So I mean,
special place.
But it's a lie. Like, fuck it, it's a lie. God damn it. So real estate sales will still be crappy. They'll be crappy. They were just like I said, they were really fucking crappy in October, like multi-decade lows again, really tremendous lows of unit sales.
Yeah, it's
in
bad.
Ontario. It's flat.
It's bad. The amount of cancellations that people are just like, "Can you remove me? I'm not buying anymore." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I guess."
And that's going to continue. It's going to be a terrible November. We're
going to survive off renewals.
Terrible December. It's going to be a terrible January. I mean, but. If, let's face it, there's something in this country called family formation, right? People get married or not married, but people have kids, I'm not so old as I think you have to be married to have a kid. I'm not like that. I'm not that old, okay?
Marriage is outdated.
Marriage is outdated. Exactly.
Just kidding. I'm actually getting married in May. I'm kidding.
Fiance, just kidding. Fiance. Just kidding. But the reality is that there's family formation. People get together. People have kids. Okay, we got like kids all over. In our own operation, we got people who've just had kids. Okay, like so in our own business, we got
the butler baby that
people
comes
with
by.
babies. No, don't say butler baby. I'm not involved.
No. Well, to clarify, we call her the butler baby because one of our coworkers had a baby and they bring him to butler. So
butler.
not you.
No, I'm not involved.
Or any butler.
No butler's involved in that. So this is crazy. So like we had our TD rep, we had for a couple of years. She had a baby, so she's gone.
Nice.
And then the lady we have right now is doing a great job for us. She's having a baby. She's going on parental leave. Aww. So the new rep calls me the other day, and she says, "Hi, I'm the new rep." I'm thinking, okay. I'm saying, listen, just want to let you know if you're going to have a kid, I just want you to know that no matter what the trend is, I'm not involved. I am not involved. Oh, I've got 2 kids. Well, that's nice, but still, I mean, it seems like there's a virus, okay, that anybody who's working with a lender, working with your bank, comes to work with us somehow. But it's not me. I'm telling you, not me.
Not
okay?
You.
Not me.
No butler.
Not involved. No butlers are involved in that production, okay? So there's family formation. People get together, they have kids, and they want to own a home, okay?
Of course.
Then there's all kinds of other things, like people get divorced, okay? Like I always said, like, what happens, wife comes home early from work, finds her husband in bed with her sister, okay? Ooh. That's not good, right? Yeah, and you might be stopping and saying, like, does he really always say that? Like, what's the matter with that guy? He's the worst guy. I'm just citing an awful instance, a horrible incident that will lead to marriage breakdown, okay? Yeah. There's marriage breakdown. People need to sell. People need to buy. So there's always reasons. But in a certain kind of a market like we have right now, you can try to postpone the reasons. You can try to push things off, but it builds up, right?
Yeah.
The reasons to want to buy a house build up.
You do.
So, but I just don't know when it takes off again. Like it's really hard to say because these house prices are still too damn high.
They are.
They're really too damn high. And like you said, it's my fucking fault. Okay.
It's your fault. You and your whole generation.
You and your whole goddamn boomer, goddamn generation of
guys done fucked us up.
Fucked you guys up, fucked you out of houses, and prices are too high and everything else. I gotta respect that. Like, it's something I've never thought of before because I never had to, right?
Yeah,
of
course.
That's what it is.
Of course.
Here's something interesting that we keep hearing about. We keep hearing about the companies who are building condo projects or building rental projects or building office projects or these big developers all over the country. We keep hearing rumors about developers in trouble. Okay. And it's not hard to understand. We had that huge disaster of the One Bloor West thing blew up and they went into receivership and they're continuing along. But I just read the other day that, the interest payments in theory on that project, in theory, the interest payments on One Bloor West are $170 million a year.
Oh my God.
Holy shit. That is a lot. Crazy. Okay. So if it takes 4 more years to finish, it's going to be like $650 million just in interest, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers are so fucking nuts.
Yeah,
okay?
that's bad.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
So what happens? So why would development projects be in trouble? It's just easy. They start, if you're building a big building, you have to start years ago.
Of course.
You might have to start before COVID. Construction costs have gone crazy. And it's hard to, it's tough to budget for that, right? It's tough to budget.
Yeah.
And then worse, nobody expected 4 years ago for the financing cost to be triple.
Yeah, I can imagine a lot of people don't even qualify. If they do, they just can't afford what they qualify for.
Well, this is yes, and which puts your whole goddamn condo project in jeopardy, total jeopardy. But even if you could even apply this to purpose-built rental projects, like to people who are trying to build rental accommodations, like big apartment buildings.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, that money is disappearing. There's not enough money to finish the project.
Yeah.
And if you got a bunch of leverage, could be trouble. Okay.
Of course, yeah.
So we are hearing a few things. I mean, there was a flurry of calls we got in the last couple of days, mostly for people saying, "Hey, reporters are calling me. Should I say anything?" I said, "I don't know. I wouldn't say anything. I mean, just be quiet for now. I mean, keep it quiet." But I think because let's face it, people knew about One Bloor West long before they declared receivership. So there's going to be a few more things.
What would happen to like a condo, like first time home buyer or whatever, somebody who buys a condo and then
or buys a house
or buys in this
buys
specific,
a townhouse, whatever.
Or exactly. And then let's say at their pre-con it was one price.
Yep.
Now it's a new construction, and the appraisal comes in lower than what their original purchase price was. Like, how does that work? Because especially with prices going down now, I can imagine they're going to be affected too, right?
That's a great question. So let's just address the appraisal question because it's the most obvious and daunting problem, right? So you bought a house, new construction 16 months ago. It probably, that's could be late 2021, early 2022, which was the absolute peak. Okay.
The prime time.
The primest of times. Okay. You paid the most money possible. And now we come around to appraise the house. It's ready to go. It's all finished. And you bought it for $1.7 million. The appraisal comes in at $1.5 million. And that's just no bueno. Okay. That's just all bad. Bottom line is somebody's got to come up with $200,000. You got to come up with $200,000 to make up the difference.
The builder or
the builder never. The builder's never involved. The builder finished. Here's the deal about the contract said you're buying the property for X.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee of appraised value in the contract. You're an adult. You're adult people. You know the risk of something that has to go for 18 months. Anything could happen. You signed the papers. You gave the deposit. Probably gave $200,000 deposit more. You knew the risks. You didn't think about the risk because house prices hadn't gone down for 14 years. Okay. Yeah. So that's fine, but it's a contract.
Yeah, of course.
And what happens is if you just say, well, it's like the appraisal's 1.3 instead of 1.5, or it's 1.2 instead of 1.5, and I can't come up with the extra money because my mortgage is I can only get this much mortgage, limited specific amount of mortgage.
Yeah.
I can't get more mortgage. I can't get more money, so I can't close. Right. So if just in a simplistic way, this is what happens. The builder says, okay, we are now under the terms of our contract. We are now seizing your deposit. We've grabbed your money. It's ours now. Okay. We're going to go out and sell this house. And if it sells, we say you gave us 200 grand. So if we sell this house and our loss from your original purchase price is 300, we got your 200. You're going to owe us. You're going to have to pay us another 100. You lose your 200. Yeah. You don't get the house, and we're going to sue you for the 100 for the smaller price we sold it for, the lower price we sold it for. And if you look at the case law, the builder wins 100% of the time.
Wow.
100% of the time. It's like rock solid case law. Many precedents. Okay. So they lose every time. The only way out of it at that point is you pay the extra 100 or make a payment arrangement or you go into bankruptcy. That's it.
Would they be able to like sell on assignment? Is that?
Well, you can sell. No, you once the closing date hits, you can't sell by assignment. You could try beforehand. Okay. You can sell by assignment beforehand. But like at the end of the day, if the guy who's buying it by assignment has got to be making a mistake, right? He's got to be willing to pay
to incur all those costs. Basically,
like let's go back to the numbers again. Like say it's a 1.5 purchase, and you're willing to lose your whole deposit and sell it for 1.3. Okay, just take a total loss in your deposit. You wipe yourself out, your deposit out. You may find a buyer. It's possible. But then that buyer might have the same problem. He gets it appraised. Doesn't work. Buyer by assignment. I should say they're buying by assignment. Because remember, your contract's always with the builder, right?
Right.
And here's the thing about your contract with the new buyer, the assignment buyer. The builder doesn't give a shit. Doesn't have to. And if that assignment buyer says, oh, it doesn't appraise, I'm walking away. Because he didn't have much skin in the game, right? Like, not much.
Yeah.
I'm walking away. You could sue him, but the builder still sues you.
Yeah.
Because that's the contract you had. Okay. So, yeah. It's
messy.
It's messy. It's disastrous.
Yeah.
Like, and we are going to see some more of those too.
Yeah.
Absolutely we are.
Unfortunately.
So that is unfortunate. Now, you remember I talked about how Tiff announced, our friend Tiff Macklin, the Bank of Canada governor, he announced that his no change.
Yeah.
And he was testifying before Parliament, for a parliamentary committee the other day. And he talked about the fact that, well, you know what? I've been talking about 2% inflation target, 2% inflation target, 2% inflation target. I've been talking about that on and on and on and on and on. Maybe we don't need a 2% inflation target. Maybe it could be a little higher, or even if we don't, maybe, just maybe, I could cut rates before we got to this 2% thing that I've been talking about forever, which is a big, what? Like, what's wrong with you? You know, like, you've been listening all this time. We've been listening to Tiff. And remember, he does not sound this way. This is the voice, but he doesn't sound this way.
Disclaimer.
Yes, we must achieve the 2% inflation target. It is critical to all of our economic planning and financial thinking and the correct fiscal policy for this country. And we shall achieve it. It is our goal. It is a rock solid belief. All of a sudden now, I could cut the frigging, I don't swear, you know. I could cut the frigging rate before we hit the target. Okay. What? Like, say what? What in the world is going on here? Okay. I mean, you wonder why the bond traders started selling. I mean, like, come on. You wonder why the yields changed? I mean, like, okay. Like, you've been saying one thing for 20 friggin' months, and all of a sudden, you know what?
Never mind.
Never mind. Don't take me seriously.
Jokes.
Oh, God, that's crazy. I mean, but that's where that's where we're at this week.
Oh, man.
By the way, you know, I take the mickey out of Tiff all the time. I just think he's a guy who tries to do the best he can, but he hasn't always made the smartest decisions, and you know. But mostly he's said things for the sake of political reasons or for trying to push the market in a given direction that I just think he shouldn't have said. So now, but and you know, then you end up in this weird world, okay, where you have to say, oh, you know, that's been my target, but maybe I can cut rates before we hit the target. Like, whoa. And he probably will. That's the truth. He probably will. Because we might have something called stagflation, which means that inflation stays high. It's by high, we mean not like 8%, but like inflation stays at like 3.5% or 3.25% or something, or around 3 before, while rates are cut. And so the economy is essentially stagnant and inflation goes on, and it's stagflation, which is never a good thing. But one smart guy said the other day in another podcast, he said, it's been that target, that 2% target, it's been a different number before. Over the years, it's been a different number. Over the decades, it's been a different number. So here's the thing. If we're no longer going to be getting cheap clothing and other materials from China, if that thing is changing, if we're going to be bringing more manufacturing back to North America, if we're going to have to accept that prices are not going to be... Because really what we did is we imported deflation from China. Like, if you could buy a pair of socks in the 1970s and they were like a pair of, like, I'm not kidding, like a pair of athletic, those white socks that men wear that look like fucking tube socks, okay? Like at one point they were like 99 cents a pair. They were expensive. And all of a sudden the Chinese started making them in China, and they were 4 pairs for 99. Like, I mean, that's deflation, right? I mean, that's the price of something going down. Well, those days might be done. We might actually start making socks here again. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Or make socks in the States, because that's the concept, that we would reduce our trade ties with China. So,
well, hopefully it creates jobs, right?
Well, it should. I mean, and it also, maybe it's healthy. I don't know. But I'm not an economist. So that's the thing, that if that's true, if we're going to bring back manufacturing to North America, prices will go, they don't have to go up 10% every year, but they could go up more than 2%. Right. Because we don't have this cheap source of products.
Of course,
So that's where that's at, that he might be right. He might be right that he may not even accept the inflation target. The inflation target might turn out to be 2.5% one day. And then, now, when I'm saying all this, it's really important to understand that I personally don't think we're going to see ultra low rates again. I think that I think the
like COVID rates, you mean?
Yeah, like the crazy COVID rates. So the rates which were so ridiculously low, like,
the ones.
Like the variable, we had a variable rate for about 3 weeks, a high ratio, like the government insured CMHC rates. We had a variable rate for about 3 or 4 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, 0.89.
Wow.
Fluctuated between 0.89, so you're less than 1% interest on a mortgage. I mean,
oh my God. It's so like baffling, because it's like when you look at it today.
Well, but you wonder why the fucking prices went through the roof, right?
No shit.
You got people thinking, I can afford a lot at 1%. Like, and people booked. I had people.
You were booked and busy.
People were getting like 1.49 fixed. 5-year fixed 1.49. They still got it.
Yeah, they still have it.
There's a reason they're not moving. Okay, like I'm not going to give that rate up for hell or high water. Okay, like I'm not giving it up. So so people wonder what. So no, I don't see that happening again. No, I don't. I see that someday, maybe this year, we'll have rates that are in the 4s, and we might have a very special high ratio 5-year rate that's in the like 3.99 or something. I could see that happening, but I don't think we're going to see 2.49 or 1.99 or 2.89, and we're not going to see that stuff. I think that's a scary kind of concept.
Yeah. Well, either way, I guess we don't want to see it at that rate, because look at the aftermath, right?
Yeah, the aftermath was really shitty. That's for sure. Really, really shitty. And that's sort of, but so this brings up an interesting point. So if rates are, if TIF will eventually reduce rates, I didn't say I would. I did not say I would immediately be reducing rates. Do not put those words in my mouth, you rotund bastard. Okay. But someday the question comes up. Well, then why not? Let's take variable. Give me variable then. Give me the variable rate, because I know it's going to come down. Okay. All right. quick lesson in math on that one. Very quick math lesson. Okay. When in normal times, you get a variable, the contract says you get prime less 1%, or prime less 1.1%, or prime less 1.25%, or you get prime that's aggressive discount from prime. Okay, that's the normal way of prime. Like when we were knocking out that 0.89 rate, that was like 146 off prime, for the love of Jesus. Like it was a big discount from prime. Okay, we don't have that today. We got like 0.5 off prime, 0.6 off prime, 0.7 off prime. So before everybody and we don't know precisely when that prime will drop. All right. So why in the name of Jesus would you, like, it's not a great discount and we don't know when it's going to happen. So why is all of a sudden everybody's hands fly up and say, yeah, take prime now. Okay. Yeah. Take prime now. I don't know. Get a 1 year fixed. If rates are going to come down, like at least, everybody says, oh, you take variable because it's only a 3-month penalty. Well, I got news for you. If you take a 1 year fixed, it's only going to be 3 months penalty. And if you take a 2 year fixed, at the end of about 10 months, it's only going to be about 3 months penalty. Okay. Yeah. Like it's not like it's going to be a huge penalty. So at the end of the day, I'm not 1,000% sure that everybody should be betting on prime. Anyway,
not right now.
Well, maybe soon. If those discounts, if we start to see somebody jump up with a conventional mortgage, say we'll give you 1% off prime, I might start to change my tune.
Right.
Okay? But so far, we haven't seen too much. Which brings us to our favorite part of the program.
Our favorite part? What the actual fuck?
Yeah, what the actual fuck is going on with the immigration minister? And this is incredible, folks. This was a striking thing. Like, I knew it was going on, but like his recent talk is just striking. He says, immigration minister says, he's probably a really smart guy. Excuse me. I don't have COVID. Nobody worry about me. I don't have COVID. So he's a smart guy. I know he's a smart guy. But here's the thing. He comes out and he says, you know what? Probably we should really think harder about making sure that we're bringing the right people into the country, that we're making sure that, we want to bring in a lot of immigrants. By the way, he said they're going to maintain immigration the same. They're not going to increase it anymore. They're going to maintain the same level of immigration after 2025. 2025, we got like 525,000 people coming in, planned permanent residents, going to keep it going, not going to increase it. Not going to increase it. Well, okay, thanks for that.
Will they be able to keep count this time?
God, we'll see if they can count. But it was really, really incredible. Like, it's all about, we don't know if, we just let people in. Like, we don't really have a credible plan for who's coming. Like, I thought to myself,
there's no criteria?
Well, there's lots of criteria, but it's not the criteria that we all should think is important. What do we need? We need skilled trades to build stuff. Okay, we really need them. We got a bunch of people retiring. We need skilled trades. We need lots of medical help. We need the top end. We need the doctors. We need specialists. We need it desperately. We need nurses. We need technicians. We need healthcare technicians. We need PSWs. List. We need all those people, right?
Yeah.
We need all those people, okay? That's so important. Like, if you just take those two groups and said, we should bring in a shit ton of those people.
Yeah,
okay?
Focus on that group, yeah.
It looks like they haven't been giving that too much thought. Like, all of a sudden, he says right under the blue, he says, yeah, we should really focus on that. Well, what the fuck's been going on for the last goddamn 10 years, okay?
Instead, they're trying to, figure it out on our end, right? Because you heard about how they're trying to get rid of grade 12 to make they're trying to introduce a skills trade year, something like that. So yeah, sure, great, because we're lack of tradespeople, but why didn't they start at the obvious part, which is bringing in people with the skills?
Yeah, we're bringing in 500,000 permanent residents.
Yeah,
let's find some electricians and plumbers and drywallers and
healthcare workers
and all the doctors and oh my god,
yeah.
You don't need to bring in any realtors or mortgage brokers. Okay, you don't need
There's
any of those. That's fine, but but the startling truth that yes, we should coordinate that better. Yes, we should think about that more. What the fuck is it with government that the most obvious stuff takes years and years to figure out? Years and years. You tell people for all these years, hey, maybe we should really restrict these foreign buyers. No, you're crazy. I think we should restrict foreign buyers. No, you're crazy. I think we should restrict foreign buyers. No, that's stupid. And then all of a sudden 1 year, you know what? We better restrict foreign buyers.
Now that it's too late.
Yeah, what the fuck? Okay, so, hey, shout out to the minister. Yes, good move. Do it now. Do it fucking now. Bring in the doctors. Bring in the tradespeople. Find them. Like, don't say we're going to put a study. Don't study it. Just
we need them.
Just fucking do it. Do the right thing. Do the smart thing. Quit talking about it. Quit thinking about it. You should have done it 8 years ago. Do it now. God damn it. Bring the right people in now. We keep bringing the people. Keep bringing the immigration, but bring the people we need. Do it. See you next week.
If you like the pod, well, don't just sit there. Go to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and all the other ones and like the pod. And don't forget to subscribe so we can keep being angry at mortgages and swearing about mortgages. Angry Mortgage could use your support.